Alright, so here we go with the third slide. We're going to take that same equation, and try to solve it algebraically. And you could try to factor this one, but I just happen to know that it does not factor, so that's kind of annoying, and we're going to have to use the quadratic formula. It might be worthwhile to write down what the leading coefficients are so you remember when you're using your formula. So like, for example, here A is 1, B is -5, C is -4. It probably also is helpful if you write down the quadratic formula on a regular basis so that you can see it and remember it. So x is equal to the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all of that over 2 times a. And so now as I start to plug things in, I have that my x will be equal to the opposite of the b, so that'll be 5, plus or minus the square root of, mind you, we already know the answers are -0.702 and 5.702, just for your information. -5 squared minus 4 times 1 times -4. All of that over 2 times 1. Often our a is a 1. Not always, but often. If I simplify that, I get x equals 5 plus or minus the square root of 25 plus 16 is 41, all over 2. And remember, this is signifying that there are two answers. 5 plus the square root of 41 all over 2, and 5 minus the square root of 41 all over 2. And so now I'll transition to our calculator, and then I'll come back here, you can see this again. So I just want to show you something. If on my calculator I go with 5 plus the square root of 41, enter, divided by 2, enter, you see our answer that we got on the right hand side, 5.702. If I go with 5 minus the square root of 41, enter, divided by 2, enter, you'll see the negative 0.702 that we got when we use our calculator. So this 5 plus or minus the square root of 41 over 2, those are the exact answers. Those are the best answers. Nobody can be better than you if you have those answers. The other ones, the -0.702 and the 5.702, those are approximations, really good ones, within 1/1000th, but they are not the answers. They're approximations. This would be another way to check your answers. So like if you had to come up with the algebraic solution, and this is what it is, then you can grab your calculator and just find them and then see if they match up. It's a great strategy for checking to see. Yes, sir?
So would you like us to make the approximation or write out the answer?
Great question. Me personally, if it doesn't tell you, I don't care which one it is. But I know for a fact that on our test, we're going to tell you to solve algebraically.
Okay. So that means you should write out the whole answer.
You should be able to do this that we just did up on the board, the stuff from the computer, right there. Now, they won't always tell you to do it that way, but I know that that is one of the skills that they will be testing on the test coming up. There might be another part where you can use your calculator, but they will for sure ask at least one question like this. So that was the solve algebraically one. We can move on from that one. We were supposed to graph it. If you want to draw a picture, you go right ahead. So it said graph it, and the roots and the zeros here, if you're rewriting this, so that would be 5 plus the square root of 41 divided by 2, and 5 minus the square root of 41 divided by 2. Those are your x's or your solutions or your roots or your zeros. And if you were graphing it, then you could draw the picture that we had earlier. I'm not going to graph it right now. So that was the solve algebraically.